Still not seeing the notifications, so we'll wait for that on Facebook. I don't know why it should be coming up, but that's Facebook for you. Okay, here's one. All right, everybody, hang with us about 3 or 4 minutes. We'll be starting the broadcast with Shelley Lewis. And here is the live link, guys. I put it in your chat. And thank you, everybody, for... Okay, let me see. One of my... the RTM server is invalid on my Rumble. Let me see what I need to do on Rumble. Alright, well, let's see if I can edit it real quick. Alright, I'll start the 2-minute or the 3-minute timer, everybody. So hang with us just a little bit longer. And we've got Shelley Lewis with us, Michael Mankinder, and you're just going to really love this interview. So hang tight. Now the 3-minute timer doesn't want to work. It's always lovely, the film and broadcasting business, isn't it? So without the timer, I'll just keep talking. Just let you know it'll just be a couple minutes. So please share the show out if you want more people to see this tonight. We're going to be talking about Shelley's life story. Lots of different spiritual things that she has encountered throughout that, and then moving into all her aspirations having to do with film and her new series Flatlanders, and talking about flat Earth tonight. So I hope you stick around. I'm going to try and get this out just to a couple profiles real quick, and if you guys would help us out, that would be awesome. If you could get it out to a couple profiles, we would really appreciate that. So let me try and get this out to a couple groups here real quick. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. This is Joe Charter, InfoWin New News, with Michael Mankinder at Mankinder, I think it's mankinder.net. So you can check that out. And let's see here. Just a couple more things I'm doing here. I would appreciate your patience. So how is everybody this evening? I hope you're all doing good tonight. It's going to be a nice night, and we appreciate the support when we go live. Even though after the show there's always a lot of engagement after the show's over. The video will stay up at Rumble at InfoWinNewNews.com, at a couple Rumble pages actually, and InfoWinNewNews.com tonight. And we're going to show you where you can get a hold. Well, in the description there's links for Shelley's work at Flatlanders at Rockfin. So you got to check that out. So let me get this just to a couple more pages here, and I really appreciate your patience. And we'll be right there. And since my 3-minute timer didn't work, well, I am your 3-minute timer. So welcome to Joe Charter's virtual invisible 3-minute timer. So thank you very much, and we're excited to have you. And looks like there's people in here. Okay, great. And to start with, we're going to play a trailer real quick before I have Shelley on. It'll be a trailer concerning her work at the Flatlanders, so check it out. All right. So now we're going to have Shelley on. So Shelley, come on. Let's get started on this beautiful night. December
Hi.
20. Hey, it's great to have you, and thank you for joining Info and New News. And
Thank
Mankinder
you.
is here to
I
also host
know.
tonight.
That's
And
amazing. Thanks so much.
yeah, so we're kind of, one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight, according to the Bible. Isn't that right?
That's true.
And I think it's really amazing how that does it's kind of a true it is a true statement, because when your work with Flatlanders, for instance, you've got one or two key people that are really helping you do that work, right? And so it's like, without them, it's like you could you'd be like kind of struggling, right?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely been a labor of love. And I mean, I have to give a huge shout out to David Hunt, who's stuck by me this whole time and just an incredible, like, amazing friend. And he's also a producer on the series. And Ryan Walker, who's my creative director. I mean, without these two, I mean, I have so many shout outs just to everybody who's just shared their story. It's just been incredible to be able to put those words to film, and just I can't say enough a good how much I love this community.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's great. We'll talk a lot about that in the later parts of the podcast tonight, or the broadcast. And to get started, I really would, I want to give you an opportunity to really tell people who Shelley Lewis is. And so take us back, in your life, and really just like treat the audience as if they've never met you before, but yet they want to know your life story. Tell us, about your life story and things that you went through, and I'm going to give you, straight through, and if I'm going to try not to interrupt. So this is kind of your time to tell your story.
Oh, well, you can definitely interrupt. So
Oh,
feel
we will
free. Feel
eventually. We
free.
will
Yeah.
eventually.
So my life story, wow, it goes back to when I was about 12 years old, and I had an opportunity to go to space camp. And I met Alan B. Shepard, and I knew right then and there that I was going to be the first woman to walk the moon. That was my goal. And so I wanted to be an astronaut. And his journey took him to Annapolis, which ultimately wasn't I didn't really care for the Navy too much. But Buzz Aldrin had gone to West Point, and he was, one of the first men to walk the moon. And so I wanted to follow in his footsteps. And so I decided to go take the plunge to get into West Point, and it was definitely a challenge. Just getting in there was insane, and I honestly, to this day, I don't even know how it happened. It's kind of the Lord's doing. Everything in my life has been Him, and I give the credit to the Most High. But so I ended up getting into the academy, and so my first goal was to graduate, and then my next goal was to get accepted into the space, the space program. And then while I was deployed to Haiti, I had gone through parachute school. I'm a paratrooper, and then I deployed to Haiti, and I got a bunch of shots. I don't know if I can say that, but I did to deploy, and I got really sick. And so the next year, I basically was at Walter Reed a lot, trying to diagnose what was going on with me. They tested me for everything under the sun. And then at final diagnosis, they came up with undifferentiated connective tissue disease, meeting the criteria for lupus. And so at that point, like, nobody had heard what lupus was. No one knew what that was, So I basically got a medical discharge, an honorable discharge. And for the next, I would say, oh God, about 4 years, I just jumped from doctor to doctor. And I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life at that point. It's like I was really young, and I had these hopes and aspirations of being this astronaut, and to basically falling flat on my face, being super sick. And so these doctors just kept giving me more and more pharmaceuticals. I mean, I had cabinets full of pharmaceuticals. And the difference is that it just kept causing more and more of I would say, a spiral effect, downward spiral effect, because I get all these side effects. And they're not really side effects, they're direct effects. These are designed to, create you coming back for more. And so I got basically ran out of my own answers, and I just fell flat on my face, and I just cried out to the Lord and said, please show me how to get better. And it wasn't like, please get me better, but show me how to get better, because I knew ultimately like a miracle was great, but I really wanted to know what I could do, because it's action. There's so much in our life of the Lord can do stuff for us, but he wants us to be actively involved in it, you know? So he started bringing people into my life, and they literally would show up with these videos about how to juice your way back to health and how to like, eat from the garden. And so I always believe that when somebody shows up with something, you welcome it. You say, whatever I have to learn from this, I'm welcoming it. So I basically just plunged head deep into this alternative way. And these people were talking about becoming a vegan. Like, I didn't even know what the heck that was. What's a vegan? No one knew what that was. And so it was a plant-based diet full of juicing and tons of herbs. And within, I would say 6 weeks, 30 days to 6 weeks, I was getting off my medications, and I was so blown away. And so at that point, I thought, oh my God, there's hope for me. You get that little spark of hope where it's like, there's so much momentum in hope that it's like, start getting better. And I wouldn't say like I got 100%, and I'm still on this, like, trying to get my life back kind of journey, because it's been a lot. But I know for a fact it was way better than what the doctors could offer. And nowadays with lupus, they basically, they throw you into a tailspin of chemotherapy. And so I just thank the Lord I didn't have to go through that, because that's what they put a lot of people on, chemotherapy drugs. And so, so that was my first awakening to truth. Like, I realized that if you have these white coats that we all are supposed to trust, and they fail you, then I knew that something was up. Like, there was, my testimony to getting better was just obvious to me. Like, there's something different here. Yes, it was an absolute miracle from the Lord, but it was actually something that I did to, follow his lead, kind of a thing. And so I thought, it's not a one-off thing. It's other people could do this too. And so I decided to become a holistic health practitioner. It took me 10 years to do it. And because I really just wanted to help people. And so I became a holistic health practitioner. And around that time, it was around 2010, I had 2 children. And my husband was tragically killed. He was hit by a vehicle while riding his bike, and it completely like flattened me. And he was like, I knew him since I was, junior high. We were really good, close friends. And when he died so suddenly like that, I was just completely like, oh my God, what do you want to do with my life, Lord? What am I going to do with my life? And I was kind of back at square one with just trying to navigate, grief. It was really this intense thing with 2 little children. And so it was weird because I just found a lot of healing in cooking. And so I decided that I wanted to be a vegan chef. And so I went to this raw organic. I saw one of your comments from one of the viewers, go raw organic vegan. And it was one of those types of schools. And so I went there, and I just found healing in the garden again. Just being around the healing properties of food just was like amazing for me. And so, so I became a vegan chef. And then I taught cooking classes at a place in Colfax, California for about 8 years. And I was a chef there, and I was a cooking instructor and chef, and I got to see people's lives change. And it was a whole plant-based program. And these people, they would come in, it was a 3-week program, and they would come in just kind of where I was, and then you see the spark of hope when they get better. And you're just like, it's so rewarding to me to see that. And so I did that for about 8 years. And then in the midst of that journey, one of my good friends, who's a pilot in the military, started talking about this flat earth stuff. And I was just like, what? How could you talk about, and he's a very strong truther friend, very into the holistic style of living and things like that. And so I really wanted to just hear him out about this flat earth stuff. And I really went in kind of kicking and screaming. And then when I discovered that he had some really valid points, I was like, oh, wow, I need to listen. And so the whole truth began with pharmaceutical, you understand the whole pharmaceutical industry, and then kind of seeing things that happened with, the Twin Towers and how a lot of those things didn't line up. And then knowing when I was in the military how things can be compartmentalized. The general isn't going to tell the private what his plans are. Things are compartmentalized. So I thought, well, how many people really have to be in on it with this whole flat Earth thing? And then I just look back in history and it's like, not very many people really would have to know about this and they could pull it off. And so just with this idea of my friend showing me the truth about flat Earth, and then there was a documentary that came out called Behind the Curve. And I watched that, and then I saw Logan Paul's mockumentary about flat Earth, and I was just like, oh my God. So Flatlanders began as kind of this bucket list. In early 2018, I made a list of everything that I wanted to do in my life. Because it was kind of, you get to that point in life where you realize, like, anything can happen. I mean, tragedy can strike at any time. And so what do you want to do on this earth? What can you do? And so I made this list, this bucket list. And it was things like, I want to eat Thai food in Thailand, or, I want to learn to belly dance. I just made this kind of vision board of what I wanted my life to look like. And one of them was, I want to film a documentary. I want to write a documentary and film it. And I didn't know it was going to be about flat Earth, honestly. And I thought it would maybe be like, holistic health or something like that. And so when I saw this documentary come out, I was like, oh my gosh, we got to tell our side of the story, because I know there's so many people in this community who are freaking brilliant. And they don't come to this conclusion willy-nilly, and I just wanted to present our side. And I knew I couldn't do it in one documentary. I knew I couldn't do it in one show. So I realized, well, we got to tackle this thing. It's going to have to be kind of this crazy, delicious, amazing series where we can develop ideas. And the reason I want it to be kind of a living documentary, because we can always have answers to other people. And people might have questions later on that we can tackle in a future episode. And so that's kind of the precipice of the premise of Flatlanders, and just the incredible community and how much we want to share what we found. And really, people have been laughing at us all the time, and it doesn't even faze us anymore. It's like they can joke, but yeah. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I come to the conclusion too, being kind of a biblical, I've studied the Bible a lot, and I did actually some Hebrew and Greek studies too. And I was noticing a lot of differences in the wording and stuff. And then when I heard the word firmament again, and how I had it explained was, there's a lot of websites out there. So I had this one guy come on one of my shows once, he was just commenting. And then I had a conversation with him. It was part of another group, and he was kind of he was kind of a little abrupt, so that it didn't go well with that first meeting with him, because it almost felt like a religion, like the flat Earth people, or or like some kind of a new religion. But it's not anything like that. So then it challenged me, because I'm the type of person that I don't get offended or anything. I just look at it and I say, well, if there's a bunch of people out there looking at this, then I'm going to look at it too.
Yeah.
So I started looking at it, right? and I started reading Genesis again, and there were some things I was reading that I thought were very interesting, and it had to do with the firmament. And the firmament is mentioned 20 times in the Bible, and so in Genesis 1:6, God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And people just when you look at these words in the Bible, you just can't just gloss over them. There's real meaning to some of this, some of these things that we don't understand it just by looking at the phrase, But it's mentioned 20 times, the firmament, in the Bible, and even up through Genesis into Psalms, into Proverbs, Ezekiel, Matthew, Daniel, Book of Mark. So the word firmament is everywhere. And so could you, in your learnings, could you tell people what a firmament means to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said about how many times it's mentioned in the Bible. And what's interesting is that the Most High spent a whole day on it. He spent the whole day on the firmament, just the firmament. And so it's really interesting. It's a barrier that basically, if you think of a snow globe, it's this barrier between the outside upper, which we believe is the waters, between the waters below. And I just, when I think about that, and I read the Bible too, I love the Bible. Jesus walked on water, right? And
Right.
so where he is literally on the water above us. His throne sits on the waters. It says that the river of life is basically flowing from his belly. And so the river of life is us. We're in this river that's living, and we are life. So the firmament protects us from the waters above. And basically, it's this barrier. So the earth is flat, but it's kind of like the snow globe. And it's possible that it's infinite too. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's infinite plane that maybe has the snow globe within a globe, a snow globe, right? They say we're a globe, but really it's a snow globe or like a terrarium with different layers of a firmament. Because it says that the sun, moon, and stars are inside the firmament. So it's inside, which means that I think of it like a bowl inside of a bowl. And that's why you can never get to the moon. You can't get to it.
You're right.
Yeah.
I've seen video after video. They also disprove, they show all these videos. And this is what I'm just imploring to people that might be watching is don't take it as, oh my God, these people are crazy. Because, I mean, that's kind of the way they look at everybody that follows the Bible. They think we're
Yeah.
all crazy.
Right.
So you don't want to look at things like that anymore, especially after we've caught NASA in lies and different video manipulations. And
Yeah.
we know that the government is, not is in the business of propaganda. Just the other day, we found out through the Twitter files that, they're just, and we already knew this, but it's what they do. The CIA has thousands of people on the internet, and they just try and control the information and throw out propaganda, disproving or whatever they want to project out there. And so we found that out. They're doing it every day. They're just stealing people's minds with propaganda, and they're getting paid for it with propaganda.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And so everybody just think and ask some questions tonight if you want to stick
Right.
around. You can ask questions. I've heard it, oh, how come you can't, how come you're going to fall off the end of the earth? Well, it's they hide it. They hide the
Yeah.
firmament. They hide it.
Mhm.
These people hide it from us. They don't want you to go to the edges of the ice,
Yeah.
where all the ice is. And it's just amazing. And it makes perfect sense to me now, even in science, having it, the cold and the heat and the way that the atmosphere is moving and the way the sun is moving. It makes perfect sense to me now, and so I'm a believer in flat Earth now. I do believe that we are in a firmament, just like the Bible says. So I had a great kind of an awakening, and
Yeah.
Karina Swing. I forgot. Oh, you got to. I got on 2 sweaters and a coat.
Yeah. It's colder.
It's like here in Iowa, it's like minus 15, I think. Right now, it's pretty bad.
You guys are in for a doozy, I heard.
Every beautiful. Okay, they're going quick. All right, so and so in your experience, so yeah, talk about your aspirations now. I mean, you're starting a cooking show now. That is that going to be aired on? Are you trying to get on a television? Or are you trying to just do it social media? What do you want to do there with your cooking?
Yeah, I've written 2 cookbooks, and I'm working on a third one, just because I'm so passionate about food.
Hmm.
Let food be your medicine, basically. And just, I think I want to touch back on one of the comments you made about the firmament and the Bible.
Yeah.
People always say, "Well, you guys are Bible believers. That's why you believe that." And it's like, well, you don't even have to be a Bible believer to know what the shape of the earth is, because we've gone out and done experiments, and we've shown that we can't see curve. One of the things in Flatlanders episode 1 is Jay Tolan. He's an RF engineer. He wanted to kind of go out and just say, okay, wait a second here. we're seeing these little distances, but we got to see a lot further than that. You can't just tell me, seeing 10 miles, according to the calculations. Yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't be able to see that far if you're a 6 foot person. But he went out to Malibu and the dunes there. And he actually took his far infrared camera, which, our eyes don't see in infrared. We don't. It's this invisible spectrum that you can't see, but a camera can. So he set up his military grade far infrared camera and he shot it over to LA. And he could see Mount San Jacinto 123 miles away, which is it kills the globe. It absolutely kills it. And he was like, look, I worked on the Minuteman project. I've been working on these, operations. And he's like, we are definitely something else. We're not a round ball. We're not. We're a flat something. And so, so it's not like we're just saying, oh, I'm a Bible believer, so therefore the earth is flat. You can do that. Absolutely. I mean, because the Bible is a flat earth book. But if you're not maybe into, maybe you're wanting a different approach to it, you can do that too scientifically. So that's what I think is so amazing about this is that, people don't realize, we're all flat earthers. We just don't know it yet. A lot of us don't know it yet. But anyway, I just wanted to say that because, yeah, I love the Bible. I do. It's a living, breathing book.
Yes.
And so, yeah. But yeah, with the cooking show, it's going to be on my supposedly Shelley show. But I've written a few cookbooks and I thought, you know what? I want to do every recipe and I want to show a demo on how to do it. Because sometimes you read a cookbook and you're like, what is this? Or how do I do that? And so I'm going to have a QR code on the pages where you can just click to the video and then see how it's done. So,
right. That's great.
Yeah.
And so each day now with Flatlanders, as you go forward, it looks like you're on episode 3 or 4 right now.
Yeah,
pretty much.
4.
And so we've got your Flatsmack films up there now, and Rockfin. Rockfin, InfoWind started a page, got approved, so we're going to start using Rockfin too. So yay!
Congrats!
So,
that's great.
Anything to get away from Facebook, so.
Yeah, YouTube too.
And YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, Rockfin, so, I love them. They're amazing. They definitely are making it. They're not censoring people, and they're making it very, I guess, not lucrative, but just incentives to stay. So.
I want to come back and ask you about the medical. You talked about the vaccines, and I'm okay with saying anything about the vaccines because the data is out there now, and it's been proven that it's there's a lot of issues with it. Vaccines in general, I don't take. Haven't taken them for a long, long time. And what the heck just happened?
We can watch it. We can watch episode 1 if you want.
Okay, I guess I guess the co-producer wants to have us play this. So if you want to play it, go ahead, and we can. Is this part of episode 1, or just this is the whole thing? So it's kind of.
Oh yeah, that's the
whole
website.
Series. So we can't really sit here and watch the whole thing. I'm not sure what's going on.
That's the website. That's Flatsmack Films. That's our website there, and you can find all the episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, all the episodes are there and the link's in the description, so you can definitely check that out. And I watched everything I could there, and I'll go ahead and get a membership there with you because it's only $5 or something like that. $5 a month, so.
Thank you.
InfoWind, we want people to come to our page when we start, so we're going to go to other people's and pay them as well. So.
And I'll join yours. I'll share pay it forward. Thank you.
And I'd love to work with you on films. Your guys are doing so good, and I'm kind of an amateur really when it comes down to it, but I'm getting better as time goes on. Equipment and all that stuff, we know how expensive that could get. But so go back to the when you've got the lupus, explain what lupus is, and it was shortly after you got a series of shots. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely.
This was because in the military, they pretty much mandate these shots, lots of different shots. So
absolutely.
so maybe take us through that.
Okay. So when I first joined the military, you just get in processed and you kind of walk through and just line your arms up and you get shot with a gun, literally, with all these shots. And this was my first day when I enlisted. I enlisted for 1 year and then I went into the academy with a presidential nomination. Um, so right after I got that first series, I knew something was up because I felt like these weird, almost tetanus reaction where my back would start spasms. And so I went to the doctor there and I'm like, something's weird with my back. Like all my muscles are tensed up and I feel like just all my muscles are kind of like spazzing. And he's like, well, you need to suck it up. This is the army now. You need to get it together. And so I was like, okay, I'll muscle through it, because you don't want to, you don't know what's really expected. I mean, you're 18 years old, 19. And so I kind of pulled myself out of that. I mean, after that, it's weird. I started getting a lot of reactions. I was allergic to gluten. I didn't know it at the time, but I would have all these digestive problems. This was the initial shots.
Yeah,
And
because I mean, basically, you've never at that point you hadn't really taken a bunch of shots, like this, so your body
no,
wasn't ready for that.
no, exactly.
So, and imagine a child now. They're gonna poke these children, at a young age when their immune system is really not built up yet. So I don't think that's gonna be a good outcome, but that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
And so it's really sad to see the data out there on these vaccines now coming out and the admission of several different companies that, well, they can't be sued because they already, they made it so they can't be sued supposedly, but
yeah.
people are still trying to sue them around the world that end up being paralyzed, all kinds of different diseases when it comes to cancer.
Yeah.
There's lots of different increases all of a sudden now. So supposedly, I don't know, 100, 200 million people have taken this thing, and it's just amazing how people just don't understand how dangerous these things can be.
Right, right.
So how bad did you feel? And it sounded like you said you felt so bad. Explain what lupus
Yeah,
is, and then how did that, explain
I didn't know this.
what symptoms you were feeling after those shots and stuff.
Yeah, so that was my first series. And then in 1995, I deployed to Haiti and they didn't have my shot record. So I basically got everything all over again in like the short span of, 3 years.
Hmm.
And on that second series, I passed out and my body went into shock.
Was it
Be-
shortly after, like that?
Like that day, the
That
last shot I
day.
got, they gave me the GG, which is this immunoglobulin, blah, 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 gobbledygook stuff. And I passed out. And so they had to like revive me. And my body really just went into the shock from all the shots. And so they put me on sick call. I went to sleep. And I've been told now from my like holistic doctors that I probably should have not made it through that. Just because most people don't if you go through something like that. And so shortly thereafter, I was at Walter Reed, diagnosed with lupus. But it took me about a year and a half to about a year and a few months to figure out what was going on. And so lupus is when the body's immune system attacks its own DNA. Isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
And so the military, we were like guinea pigs. Nobody freaking knows what's in those things. Nobody. But we're kind of like, the first in and we're the front line. And so they basically own your body. And so who knows what I got? I mean, I do have my shot records. I do have a list, but some of the stuff I had no idea what they put in me. No
Yeah.
idea.
Wow.
And so my body just started attacking its own DNA. And so during my studies, I figured out how to cure that. I know how to reverse vaccine damage. And it was through incredible just deep dives and rabbit holes and studying these amazing, great teachers who put themselves out there, put everything on the line, and they were curing people. You can't even use that word cure because, and really they're not curing. They're getting the body to a place where your own body will cure you. Your own immune system will heal you.
Yeah.
And so I started a protocol on how to reverse those vaccine damages. And it was a long haul. But basically, this is crazy. Whoever's listening right now, I feel like they need to hear this. So when you get sick normally, and it's just the body's reaction to an immune reaction. let's say you rub your eyes, right? Because your eyes have mucous membranes, or you like rub your nose with something, or I mean, we get parasites, we get these little bacteria, and most of the time our body knows how to heal itself. But now, naturally, when you get sick that way, your body creates something called IgA. And IgA is the first defense through the mucous membranes that identifies whatever that pathogen is, whatever the bacteria is. And I'm not big on viruses, but I will say, we have an immune system that attacks it. And so it identifies it, and then the body says, okay, my immune system is going to hold on to you. The white blood cells go to that identification, but when IgA gets here, you're out of here, right? So IgA identifies it and then pulls it out of you. So now imagine if you don't take anything through the mucous membranes, but you get it shot directly into your arm.
The IgA, could you explain that?
Yeah, IgA is created in the mucous membranes, and it's like through your mouth, your nose, your eyes, and it's an immune system response to any kind of foreign pathogen, DNA, something. And what it does is it's the first line of attack, and it is the actual mechanism that identifies the whatever that process is, and then it pulls it out of you. So, for example, now if you get sick and you eat an apple, well, something happens that has a worm on it, and you get a pathogenic response to that, parasitical response to that. IgA is the main hero for that. It'll attack it and pull it out of you. So now imagine if you get shot in the arm and it doesn't go through the normal way that you get sick. Well, IgA never gets made. And so the body is constantly trying to fight whatever it is, and it can't handle it. And eventually it reaches critical mass to where the body now completely just can't handle it anymore, and people just get sick and they can't handle it and they die or whatever. So because IgA never got made. So if you imagine these cocktails and these hundreds and hundreds of shots that people are getting, IgA never gets made for that component. So I studied under Dr. Tinnis Smits, and he's actually he's in Europe, and he is no longer alive. And I also studied with a doctor called Dr. Rebecca Carley. And then when I say studied, I read their stuff, and I actually met with Dr. Rebecca Carley, and she was doing the same protocol where she was healing people of vaccine damage, even animals. It's all the same thing. So what she and he did is they created a homeopathic remedy of the actual vaccine itself. Now, homeopathic is basically like cures like. So, and I never really got into homeopathy so much because I thought, well, I'll just cure myself with medicine. Let my food be my medicine. But with the homeopathic process, what made sense to me is now if you take this small microdose of whatever it is, let's say it's COVID, I don't know if I could say that, or let's say it's polio, right? They give you a homeopathic energy imprint of this process, I will say. And what they do is they dilute it with a whole bunch of shaking and with water. And the more water, and water is life, the more water that goes into diluting the substance, the more powerful it is. Because the substance has to remember what it was. If that's the only way I can explain it. So now when you take a homeopathic remedy that's very dilute, and it will not hurt you, if you take that, but it has the imprint, it has like the fingerprint of that disease process, now your body can recognize it in its own self if it's present. So then the body creates IgA, and then you get better. And sure enough, I did this protocol, and it took 4 weeks per vaccine that I was given. And about the third week, I would spike this tremendous fever, and it was my body pulling that out of me. And so that's just how I got better. And I did that over about a year, and then I got pregnant with my son. So I had to stop the whole process, but I was so grateful because, I was getting better, and I was using homeopathy for it. So wow. People should look into Dr. Tinnis Smits, get his book. I think it's called Inspiring Homeopathy. He goes through the whole protocol and how he was curing these kids of autism. And it's not just that, it's just all things that our bodies can't handle, I believe, is through a lot of different factors, but it's kind of like this critical mass thing. You have all these attacks hitting you. We have the chemtrails, we have the water we drink, we have the beds that we sleep in that's full of formaldehyde. We have these foods that are full of pesticides, we have stress. And so all of these things combined, your body can break down. And now can you imagine getting a shot on top of that? It's kind of like, the body can only handle so much. So I'm very grateful for Dr. Dennis Smith's, his work, and then just learning about how to reverse the vaccine damage.
Yeah. I think, and we're going to invite a couple people on towards the end of the broadcast tonight and talk about the types of foods and stuff that you might recommend off the top of your head, for people to kind of start looking at right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think people really need to still build up their immune systems and their health. That is part of the way we're fighting this New World Order, bullshit out there. So
detox is so critical. It's the constant detoxing and rebuilding. Detoxing and rebuilding. We have to do both. You can't just detox without rebuilding. So
yeah. Now, when you detox, is that how do you detox?
Oh wow, it's a whole body detox. So we address all of the eliminative organs. So your lungs are eliminated, your skin, your colon, your liver, and your kidneys. So those are the main detoxification pathways that we address. And your blood, it recycles itself through the kidneys, and also the lymphatic system, which is the biggest. Most people think the blood is the biggest circulatory system in the whole body, and it's not. It's the lymph. The lymph is 4 times the amount of the blood. And so we've got to address the lymphatic system, and most doctors don't have a clue on how to do that. So we address all of those eliminative organs.
Because so when you eat, and if any of you notice, and I'll tell you, when you eat really bad packaged food, you'll notice that you'll start having a lot of phlegm come out, different things like that, sneezing. This is your lymph nodes, or however you say nodes.
Yeah, the lymphatic system.
Yeah. So it causes inflammation and all the chemicals that's going in your packaged food. I notice every time, if you eat, good for 3 days and then you eat bad for 3 days, you'll start those last 3 days, you'll start feeling a lot of that.
I know. I find it on the one day if I eat bad.
Yeah.
It's like
right. Actually, like 20 minutes after. Yes. Yeah, you're right. He's like, holy crap, what was in that stuff, man?
Right. Yeah, And sometimes you need to do that so you know where you came from.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm never going back to that.
Yeah, it was great. It's something I've learned over the time too with food, and so. So yeah, so when you detox, you do. It's not just a matter of not eating. Do you kind of stop food for a while, or how?
So I've found that through intermittent fasting has been a very powerful, constant kind of a gentle detox, because
how does that work?
Oh, it's amazing. It's you can just pick it. You can pick maybe 3 days out of the week, or 5 days out of the week, or 7 days out of the week, whatever you want that to be. And you pick a time frame of a window that you said, I'm only going to eat during this window, and I'm not eating before, and I'm not eating after. So your body gets used to basically going through the digestive process and nutrients and gathering all that stuff one time. It's not having to do it 3 times. And there's something really powerful about that, because you start to balance out. Your body starts to tell you when you're thirsty versus when you're hungry. And a lot of people mistake that. So you give yourself either a 4-hour window, an 8-hour window, or, 6-hour window, whatever that is. You say, I'm going to eat whatever I want during this window, and then I'm not going to eat it all for the rest of the day, and I'm not going to eat in the morning until that window comes up.
Okay.
And you want to keep it consistent, because what's interesting, it's just like sleeping. Your body gets into a circadian rhythm. And so with food, if we do that same kind of window, your body starts to trust you and it starts to heal you. And it's incredible, because it knows exactly when it's going to be fed. And so then you really do have to consider, I need to make sure that during this window, I'm picking good choices, because I'm not going to be able to make up for it later. This is my window that I get to make good choices in. And I'm never hungry. It's crazy. And if I do get hungry at night, it's weird. And this is how I know. And I shouldn't say I'm never hungry. Sometimes I'll get hungry at night, right?
Oh, I love my nighttime snack.
No, you gotta
don't take away my snack.
Make that your window. Make that your window. No, but what's amazing is you think you're hungry and then go to sleep and then wake up. If you're really hungry, you'll be starving the next day, and you realize I'm not really hungry. So what is that trigger?
Right.
Is it emotional? Is it something that just comforting for me? Am I stressed? And so then you start to really evaluate, well, why am I getting this? Or am I just thirsty? because a lot of times those are the same like feelings you have. You're like mistake food, hunger, pains for really you're just thirsty.
Yeah.
So
Just
yeah,
good water.
yeah. So
Yeah.
fasting is good.
Yeah. So, and then as far as the foods, how do people shop? So we've been looking at ideas for, getting with the organic farmers, people around the country, and we want to start a whole list and a whole list of websites. So we're working
Yeah.
on it. That's on our list, on my list anyway, to do. And I really think that it would be great if we could get a hold of, get a whole bunch of them and start ordering certain things. Garlic, you could order like through these farmers, these co-ops around the world, around the United States. So
Yeah.
do you do that, or how do you shop, and what do you do to
Yeah.
make sure you're getting, good nutrients in
Best
your
quality.
food?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm thankful where I live. I have access to an organic grower, and they're out there, and I try to eat in season. But ultimately, it comes down to, hey, Mike. Uh,
Michael
ul-
Mankinder,
yeah, ultimately, it just comes
welcome.
down to you just have to do the best you can,
Yeah.
and we could stress ourselves out thinking like, oh, I can't get access to this or not, and food is just expensive. It's an insanely what they're trying to do to people. So honestly, eating this, this our intermittent fasting has helped a lot with finances and buying food. But we should be growing our own food, even if it's something as simple as growing basil in our on our windowsill. We should at least have something that we're growing, either sprouts or basil or herbs or whatever. And that's a really good way to start incorporating real living food. But I shop at Trader Joe's. If I can't find, I hate going to the grocery store. That's my last choice. And you can also get things through Ugly Foods, I think it's called, and they're these like weird shaped foods, and they're organic, and you can get a good deal on that. So, but that requires planning, because a lot of people just don't have a clue what they're going to do with the food. Most people have eaten out their whole life, or they've never really cooked, and so we have to start somewhere, a baby step, right? And we have to be graceful on ourselves. We can't be like, oh, I screwed up today, screw it. No, you just get up every day and you say, okay, I'm going to do better. And if I screw up, okay, I'm going to forgive myself and I'm going to keep going. So that's really the key. That's what I
Great.
found. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at night I used to eat cereal, and that wasn't good. Well, it was like Raisin Bran. I liked
Yeah.
Raisin Bran. Is that a bad food, or
Yeah.
that's a bad food?
It is, because it's made by Kellogg's, and Kellogg's has, I think Kellogg's or Post or something,
Yeah.
they're using genetically modified ingredients, and they're
Yes, I
using,
noticed that. Recently, it's
yeah.
changed. Now,
Oh, is it?
yeah, no, it's what I'm saying is, the United States put all this biological uh, protocol so that the manufacturers can start the process in 2015, and didn't require labeling until
Right.
2021.
Wow.
And so it is crazy the way the United States works, and yet they sit in these chambers and make these this law, or these corporate protocols for food. And evidently, what from my study, and I published a bunch of stuff on it, and then I also went and took pictures of all the food, and all your kids' candies now has biological ingredients.
Yep.
All the cereals, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe granola might be your best bet. I don't know, but there's stuff in there too. But
Yeah.
now you can at least see on the labels. It's usually one line. It says product includes biologically, derived,
Engineered. Yeah.
engineered
Isn't
food.
it nuts? I hate that. I would say at night, especially, it's tough to eat because your body wants to slow down and trying to digest while you're sleeping. During the time of 10 and 2, your body is really using its healing hormones to repair. And so if it has to use that energy to digest, it's tricky. The only other thing I would say about the cereal too would just be the dairy. I know I'm going to make people mad, but sorry. The dairy is tough. Talk about creating mucus. It's one of the biggest causes of mucus in the body, inflammation. And plus, we don't know how they treated the cows, there's just so many problems with it. I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying if you're trying to heal your body, you have some real health opportunities, I would eliminate dairy. I would.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There you go. Look at that. You guys are
So,
fancy here.
well, I've done this whole study and put it on several platforms and got a lot of good responses. In fact, this is one of the videos that just kind of keeps going because people are starting to get interested in it. So when I go out there, people didn't really realize it. Like I said, from the United States kept it secret to the public for almost 5-6 years, and so now it's amazing. All of our favorite snacks now are made with, basically, from what I understand, it's mostly sewage DNA.
Oh, yeah.
So they're taking the DNA and doing some fancy stuff with it and putting it in a
Fancy
factory.
stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they somehow use it in these products for protein. And so basically we're eating that. So great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of the things that happens. In our government, they just keep doing this stuff because these corporations just want to make a bunch of money, and really we don't even know what the health risks are going to be.
Yeah, anything that comes in a package, or it's processed, it's plant, it's not plant-based food, but it's food that's in a plant. They trick us with this plant-based stuff too. But really, we got to get simple, like simplify our lives, simplify our diets. Don't just go for the easy. Everything in the center of the supermarkets is dead food. It's processed, it's preserved, it's designed to stay on a shelf for a long period of time. Everything on the outside is usually, the fruits and the
Look at that, even in chicken breast, canned chicken breast. All my favorite soups now.
Wow. Oh, that's just garbage, though. You don't want that anyway.
All my favorite, I know it's garbage, but some of it I liked.
Not even that. It's of course, because you know what makes you like it is the MSG.
Right, the MSG is very addicting.
Yeah, it is, and it's very high cancer causing.
But I was really surprised when I went to the shelves and started looking at all the Campbell's products and the Progresso, and they all have genetically engineered food in it, or modified crops, which we knew, but. So yeah, it's an interesting bunch of stuff out there that I found, and I keep finding it, and I take pictures for further study. And
good job, Joe.
Good. Well, I got to educate. That's what my job is. I got to educate the public. They don't seem to be too smart, sometimes. So I'm trying to just be somebody that they can look up to. Say, yeah. But some people don't care. I tell them, and they still don't care. They still want their Snickers bar.
That's usually how it goes too.
Yeah, it's like
you're planting seeds. That's good.
Hello, Sandy Carr. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining again. We can open it up if you want to start putting the link up for the last 15 minutes to a half hour. Shelley, we can open it up if anybody wants to come on, some of our group. Orlite is, her device is not connected or something, so I don't know if she can hear me. But
I see some of her texts. She says, how about raw goat cheese and yogurt?
Okay.
Definitely better. Oh, yeah. I mean, the raw goat stuff is a lot better than the cow. I just feel so bad too. These are such sentient beings, and I have a hard time I can't imagine what they go through in life. They just haven't had a good life, and they've been just put on all these antibiotics, and then they have this little tiny cage that they're in, and then they get milked to death, and their kids get. And I'm not trying to be negative here. I just was telling my son this the other day, and he's just like, yeah, it just makes me sad too. The cows and how they have just a really hard life. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. So do you feel a connection to the animals? And you said you became vegan now?
Yeah, I'm totally vegan. I didn't start that way, like with the animal thing. It was more of a just trying to get better. And as I've continued this journey for about 22 years, I've been vegan about 22 years, and I'm 50 years old now.
Okay.
My stance on it, of course, I'm so grateful just to the plants that, everything that we're given here is honestly a gift. Mm-hmm. And so now I've become a lot more aware of just the animals, and I've been detached from it. Honestly, we are detached from it. When people go to the grocery store, they don't know how that food got there, or what went into that. They just take it and go. And then I think, for me now, I'm just trying to be more aware of, where did this come from and what did it take to get here? And I'm trying to be more awake to that kind of thing. So it is about the animals now, and about the health aspect, but I don't judge people. Yeah. Because I'm not going to sit there and say, you're a bad person because you do this. No, I'm not going to do that. But please don't misinterpret that. But I do think there's a better way. I think we can always do better,
Yeah, I think that we should, respect the animals. People talk about God and his blood sacrifices and all this, but that was, these animals were a gift to us. Yes, they taste great. Even he likes them. But it wasn't meant to be a mass slaughter of all these plants and all these production plants and a mass slaughter. That's disrespectful to this environment, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, and so I feel that too lately. Although I do feel like it's a gift to us. A giant steak, a good steak. I don't think they're good anymore because the masses put all this crap in their steroids and stuff, and who knows what is in the beef now. So that messes with your limbs too. The stuff that's in the meat.
Yes, and think of like all the stress that cow went through. And people, we've talked about, I don't know if you've ever heard of adrenochrome or not.
Yeah, we did. We've studied that.
I've studied that. So that's also present in animals.
Yeah.
And the stress that they go through, and then these people, they feel better. Like, oh, I feel great when I'm eating it. Well, yeah, because you're getting a huge adrenaline rush. Yeah. You're getting that adrenaline hit that cow had. So you are getting that. But I'm not going to judge anybody. But you're right. It does clog up the lymphatic system, and your lymphatic system is ultimately what you need to survive.
Yep.
I just heard a story that evidently, and I don't have proof of this, but let me know if you've heard this also, Shelley or Joseph, that in the process of slaughtering cattle in particular, there's a process by which they are brought face to face with each other so that the next animal to be slaughtered is watching the pain of the first animal being slaughtered.
Oh God!
In an intentional pumping up of the adrenochrome, whatever. Have you heard that?
Yes, I have, because they can smell it. Like when they're ready to go in, a lot of them will fight it because they know what's coming for them. So they're trying to resist. They're trying to get away.
And so one perspective is that those of us that have been carnivorous through much of our life are accustomed to receiving that energy that way. But if you raise your own energy, then you may not even want that anymore.
Right. Good. That's exactly right, Michael. I love that. How beautiful. What a beautiful thought, for sure.
We're all unlearning so much. I think I first discovered Shelley probably around, I'm guessing around late 2017 when I started paying attention to the California fires. Yeah. Because the Northern California fires struck in October and then SoCal in December. And then in 2018, NorCal and SoCal were struck by anomalous fires, shall we say, simultaneously. And you were working with Jamie Lee. And if I recall correctly, you did about at least 75 videos, most of which, or many of which at least, were interviews. But in particular, that series was all about the Paradise Fire, which I was just checking. They called it the campfire, which is so cute. Makes it cute, doesn't it? Makes you afraid of everything.
Oh, campfire,
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, now you're afraid of any fires, right? But supposedly still the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California's history. Towns of Paradise and Concow were almost completely destroyed. And the official number is 85 deaths, which seems like it was a lot higher, right?
Well, originally that number was 86, because you know how they use these numbers as in the food
Right.
industry, 86 means yeah. And even the
Right.
abortion pill is called RU 486.
Oh, 86. I thought that was when you're out. Yeah. Is that when
Yeah. So
you're,
that,
it's
but
86.
they've completely, I mean, that number is a fabrication, absolutely. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Jamie Lee, because he had his finger on the pulse. He was going through the whole Santa Rosa fire. And I got a call from him. He's like, Shelley, there's something major going on up in Paradise. Let's go up there. And so we went up to cover it. And we're just privy to so much information and just how they set up the whole FEMA camps and all that. It was insane how FEMA was there even before the fire happened. And so I interviewed John Lord, both retired fire captains, John Lord and Matt. He didn't like to use his last name, but they were, and unfortunately we lost John, and that is just a tremendous loss. It's a tremendous loss to the truth community. But what they uncovered and unraveled with the whole smart meters, it was just unbelievable how they unraveled it and told us exactly what was happening. And so, yeah, that was an incredible opportunity to learn so much about that, what they're doing to us.
Yeah, you and Jamie Lee did so much with just simple gear, but went out and reached so many people, bringing, if I recall correctly, you were bringing supplies to people, money to people even, and it was just beautiful to watch what you two were doing. So I started following what you were up to, and at the time, and I think even still, I'm officially agnostic as far as the shape of the world.
Okay,
and
that's a start.
I right?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen all of it. What do I know? But there's certainly an awful lot of information that seems peculiar. But at the same time, from my perspective as a photographer and filmmaker myself, I'm looking at the lighting, and to me, this is what I can't wrap my head around. But it's maybe an interesting punchline. Is the sun seems to go over one side and come back up the other side, and I can't see any other. I've seen the models, the sun going around over a flat. It just, that doesn't fit for me. I haven't figured out how the lighting could be anything but going around a maybe spherical Earth. But from the perspective of, is this a physical reality at all? Which an awful lot of indicators seem to throw a lot of doubt on that, from the double slit experiment to various other analyses. Then if we are in a virtual reality or some sort of avatar-like virtual existence, then they, whoever the controllers are, can show me any movie they want.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
totally.
it becomes semi-irrelevant, but I still want to know what's where we really are, and that's where your analysis is phenomenal. And I think you had already and I want to give you a lot of credit, because you had already a lot of experience of living and traveling and researching and through the fires and everything else in your life. So by the time you started producing the Flatlanders series, you had a lot of production experience, and the production quality of what you guys have done is phenomenal. And you had really looked at what else was out there and determined what's the most empirical, serious, scientific research we can do. And so the experimentation and proofs that you guys delivered in Flatlanders is phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
You know, there was a lot that had already gone before you guys made your productions. So you know what was missing, and you really went for it. You want to talk a little bit about that? And also, you had some challenges with your crew.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes?
Sure. Well, it just comes down to, people wanting to take it over. It was my baby from the beginning, and like a mama bear, I'm not going to let go. And so I put a lot of money and energy into this, and I've just realized I cannot trust. You have to really, the only person I can trust is the Lord, because you find out people will let you down, or there could be a hidden agenda. People will definitely.
Well, trust is earned.
Yeah, it is.
And those of us who are nice people give people a shot.
Yeah.
And then too often you find out, uh-oh.
And then sometimes it's really scary. You're like way deep into it, and you're like thousands and thousands of dollars into this, and you realize I got to pivot. If I want this project to go as planned, the way that I had envisioned it, you have to cut ties, and you have to just be able to really adapt and overcome. And that was one of the things I learned in the military, is that when you encounter an obstacle, you adapt and you overcome, and you either pivot and you cut your losses, but you have to keep going. And so I just decided I wasn't going to die. It wasn't my day to die. I just kept going. And I'm grateful. To believe it or not, I look back and I see, I'm so thankful those things happened, because like you said, I don't think we would have had the caliber. We wouldn't have had the better interviews. We wouldn't have had the better footage, because I had to refilm everything. I had to start all over again. And in doing so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So because what happened? Did somebody, and we won't throw anybody under the bus or name any names, but somebody walked off with equipment and walked off with your footage, and what all happened?
That story sounds familiar, doesn't it, Michael?
Oh my gosh.
So it's unfortunately it's common. It's common. Yeah, and unfortunately, I trusted everything, and including it was my project, and I was invited to be a part of this other person's company as well. And so I invested cash to start the company up, and with that cash, equipment was bought that said it was used on a credit card. And it's like, no, I gave you cash for that. So it's okay. I've learned to just really be careful. And I even shared that with Joe, with him starting up. It's like, get everything down, have an LLC or a corporation to protect you, make sure that it's on paper and deals are made then, because you never know when someone could just like go rogue.
We recommend, we often recommend a 508c1a to get out of the corporate structure and avoid LLCs. Good. But
yeah.
But you've got this amazing array of people that worked with you, and all nicely credited. And I kind of wonder if you even credited the people that were problematic.
No,
no, huh?
I give him credit.
Not on here.
I wouldn't be where I am today. Honestly, I look at everything as a blessing, because of that happening and having to reshoot. I had already kind of had a dry run of what I wanted, and this time I had real professionals film. I had real people come in and do the work professionally, because I knew this cannot be a rickety kind of squeaky thing. And even though we did it on a shoestring budget, I just had the Lord brought the right people in to place. And I'm just so grateful. David Hunt. David Hunt has been with me from the beginning, and he saw the whole, how everything kind of progressed and transferred. And I'm just so grateful for him, because he saw everything from the beginning, and he was on my side the whole time. And so he's my assistant director. And then, of course, Ryan Walker, he's my creative director. And
why am I not seeing Hunt? I'm not seeing David
he's
Hunt.
Behind the scenes. Yeah, he's behind the scenes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not up there either, but I need to maybe get some accolades up there for him. I need to put some stuff up there for him. Yeah.
Michael,
I wanted to give these folks credit, and because any project like this is really a team project. Real filmmaking is tough. It's a lot of moving parts, and I just I don't know if this is lighthearted or serious, but my mom would play dumb, and unfortunately there's a lot of boys clubs that don't take the woman seriously. My mom was in charge. You know,
Yeah.
she could play dumb, but no. And unfortunately, being ridiculously gorgeous as you are, I don't know if that's been.
Aw,
I kind of wonder. You know, is that a help or a hindrance? Sometimes, do you ever
thank you.
think about the balance of that?
Oh, well, I
Not
just
being taken
appreciate the
seriously.
compliment. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. Well, I don't.
Well, you didn't make you as gorgeous as you are, but you did make
Thank
yourself
you.
Well,
as
she did with eating
uh,
right.
there you go.
Thank you.
But you did create your level of integrity and skill and reliability and graciousness. You're delightful to communicate with. You know,
Oh,
we
ditto.
went back. You chimed in on a webcast that I did, a 9-hour webcast. That was September 7th of 2019. We didn't even have COVID yet, but we knew
I
stuff was
remember.
getting weird. And
Yeah.
really have appreciated you ever since we first started communicating. You're just easy to communicate with and extremely professional. But how does that balance work for
Thank you,
the
Michael.
gorgeous gals out there? Is it a blessing or a curse? Because sometimes,
I don't
you
know
know,
what
you
to
get an awful
say.
lot of trouble.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how to answer that. I'm just really grateful for the. I'm just really grateful for just the life experience that I've had. You know, being in the military, I think I learned how to just be tough, adapt and overcome. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's really what counts on the inside. And I know that sounds so cliche, but all we're taking with us when we leave this place is our character. And hopefully we can build our character in a way that really blesses others, you know, without without getting walked on and screwed over. And so there is that balance of you know, really wanting to do good without people taking advantage of you. And I think that's the lesson for me. I have to really be careful with. Um, I need discernment. I need better discernment, and so I'm working on that. And I'm working on trying to just be better that way, for sure.
I also messaged you because I was hoping to be able to dig something up from Event 202. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that just a little bit? Because Joe doesn't know about it, and evidently all traces have been vanished from the internet. But that was a really cool project that you guys worked on, and you were the host. It was like hosting the
Yeah.
Academy Awards of
It
Truth.
was, oh man, it was amazing to just be a part of that. And just, I'm always thinking that I'm a student, you know, I'm always wanting to learn from these people that have so much to offer. But that really was the genesis of that was with allegedly Dave Murphy. He goes by allegedly Dave on his YouTube, and the guy is freaking brilliant. He's so smart. Before the whole like free man on the land project kind of got launched, you know, that collective, that movement, allegedly Dave was kind of out there doing this in England. And he started really waking up to the whole lies of, you know, you're born free. You are not, you know, you're not property of the state. You are a free person. And so he actually challenged a lot of people. And same with Santos Bonacci. He's another one who is a great friend of mine. Not a great friend of mine, a great inspiration of mine for that. But Event 202 came up with allegedly Dave, and he wanted to have an answer to Event 201. And for the viewers out there, Event 201 was this synthetic mock, whatever you call a mock, what are those things called? Where they go out and they say, this is going to, if this happens, we're going to call all these doctors together and we're going to pretend like this is happening. It's like, I forget a rehearsal is what it was.
Yeah, like a disaster planning exercise.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And they basically, what their plan was is exactly what rolled out. And this happened in October of 2019. The whole Event 201 was when there comes a coronavirus that gets launched. The only difference was it wasn't launched in Wuhan. It was launched in South America. And their reaction to what they were going to do. And what they said they would do is they would censor us if we started going against the official narrative. They would put masks in place. They were going to roll out a vaccine. And they basically had this whole mock rehearsal of what they were going to do in the event of this happening. And sure enough, it was their playbook. It's exactly what they did. And so to counter this Event 201, we came out with Event 202. And that was basically, we got together with all these people on how to protect yourself from this hostile takeover of your sovereignty, of your right to be free. And we had Matt Landman, we had, of course, allegedly Dave, and then there was this, I forget this other girl, she was a holistic naturopath, Karen B. There was a few others, and forgive me if I can't remember their name right now, but everyone who participated was just brilliant. And they basically gave people a way out, and that is the whole point. I don't like people who go out there and give people a bunch of fear without a solution. And so I've always said, yes, this is out there, but here's an answer. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. And just being aware of what their game plan is, you can thwart the enemy. Being in the military, strategy is having a good offense. It's having a good defense. Knowing what you're going to do in the event that something's going to come against you. Here's how you can plan to, the best defense is a good offense, basically. And to outsmart, outwit the enemy. And so if they're going to do this to us, here's what we can do to protect ourselves. And so that's what I just loved about Event 202, and it got pulled. It was really very popular, and the powers that be said, nope, you can't have this.
Was that on YouTube, or was that on YouTube? Okay.
It was on YouTube.
So YouTube is pretty much gone for good content. But what kind of drinking water did you guys already go over that? Already asked what kind of drinking water you recommend for drinking?
Oh my gosh! So I'm so glad she asked that. I'm diving deep down this rabbit hole. A good friend of mine, Manny, and he has his own little podcast, and he actually goes out and he tests. He's in Europe. He's in Austria. Hey, Manny, if you're watching,
I hope he's watching.
He's a good friend. I love Manny. He said what he does is he does water electrolysis. He says the best, and he tests the water that he gets, but he says the best water that he can find right now is not distilled. It's spring water, but you have to test it with electrolysis to see what's in it, because a lot of spring water can also be damaging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some water, and I bought the Kangen machine to put a charge on it, to put a charge on the water. I didn't buy it like brand new. I got it for $75 on the marketplace, because those are like $3,000 machines. Wow. So I'm testing Kangen water right now to see, for cleaning, also for like any kind of cuts or abrasions, on what it can do on the body. I'm testing all that out on myself. And but the best water I'm learning is the water of fresh organic vegetables. Yeah. If you juice that water, that is like perfect. So and you get the nutrients and all that too.
You're using a juicer now, right?
I haven't been this year, but I'm starting to get back into it. I used to juice a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of supplements, Arlete is asking that too. So we'll get these questions kind of answered. And this is in the private chat, because I don't think she's coming in on the other. But it says, she's just asking what detoxifying agents and supplement foods, your favorites?
Yeah, so detoxifying foods, I'm always going for the dandelion for the liver, nettle, also quercetin, which is really good for pulling out inflammatory response in the body, which is critical. I don't take a lot of pills. I don't take a lot of them, only when I need to, because there's certain things that you need. Like if you're not close to the sun, you need to take a vitamin D. You need to. And there's cofactors that go along with vitamin D. And those are like you need magnesium, which is, a lot of times you're craving chocolates because your body's low on magnesium. So I take a good quality magnesium, good quality vitamin D if I'm not out in the sun. And then boron, take borax. Yeah. If you take a little pinch of borax and you put it in water, I take that. And you can get boron on the market. I just use borax because it's a lot cheaper. And then the other cofactors of vitamin D is zinc, and what am I missing? Vitamin A. And you should get that in the form of carrots, beta carotene, naturally. That's what I would do. Yeah. So those are like your basics. And then the B vitamins, if you can get B vitamins. There are natural ways to get it through aloe vera and things like that. But a good quality B vitamin, which would be like a methylated B12 or methylated folate. And those are the two things that I would recommend. But it really just depends on your body, right? So for detoxification, I'm doing that once a month. I'm taking some good cleansing herbs, some bentonite clay to like help pull any kind of parasites or things out of the body. And that is really the other thing that I got to hammer on is get those parasites out of you. We deworm our pets, but we don't deworm ourselves. And so we really need to deworm ourselves. And so black walnut, pumpkin seeds, those are really powerful parasite cleansers. And because parasites will mess you up. You can get it from walking out barefoot. You can get it from eating a vegetable or eating meat. Both of them have them. And so you want to pull those parasites out. And the next thing I'm really researching is this whole MMS. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard a lot of people say that MMS is like this powerful thing, and the government's really coming down on people who sell it. So that's where I want to look. If the government doesn't like it, that's kind of where I like try to zone in on and say, why don't they like it? Why are they trying to stop it? Is it curing people? Maybe so. And so I've been researching MMS. Yeah. But yeah, borax is powerful. Yeah, borax. Most people don't know that. And you should read the, it's this article you can get it online for free, and I'll send it to you, Joe, so you can post it on your site. But it's like the conspiracy about borax or something like that.
Okay, great. Yeah, and do you follow Natural News, the natural news guy that does natural news? You do?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I know I did not a podcast with him, but I did this holistic health thing with him.
Yeah, he's banned all over the place. But
is he?
Yeah. So I've got his feed in my website for the Truth Bomb page. So that's where I put people that are censored all over the place. And
nice.
Yeah, he puts out a lot of great articles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that. Borax for coughs, and somebody's saying they have, they've been diagnosed with this. I have long COVID badly, and I keep hearing all these new terms, so that's a respiratory or something she's struggling with. What would you do if you were feeling that right away? I mean, what would be the first thing?
So I was honestly the last person that I ever wanted to hear about this, but I've heard and researched a lot about this, and you have to really be open to maybe possibly checking it out. And I know people feel like it's not good. It is good. It is. Dog dewormer in the form of fenbenzidol or ivermectin.
Okay.
If you research that,
yeah, ivermectin you can get a hold of, and it can cure. It could kick it in the butt. It
does, but you have to be open to it. And I've personally done a lot of research on it now, and they're hiding it for a reason. Some things I think are powerful if you need it, and I know somebody who's cured cancer using it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've seen a ton of good reports.
Okay, well that's good. I know some people don't really want to hear that, but I'm open to the truth wherever it leads.
Yeah, they these pharmaceutical companies, 2023, I'm going to be hammering those really bad. So, Michael, you got anything you want to add at the moment? Okay. But we're probably, and Michael, I couldn't play that clip. Evidently, the sound wasn't working. So, I'm still trying to work in this StreamYard thing. I don't know why it's not picking up the board. But if you share screen, maybe we can play part of episode 2 or 1. And because it's here, I see it right here. And then I'm wondering if you play it. I wonder if it will work.
I think sometimes,
or at least the trailer.
Headphones. Sometimes it's the headphones. I've heard it doesn't work. The headphones are plugged in, but I'm not sure.
Could be. That's a possibility. I could try that, but we'll see if Michael can do it because I know his audio is coming through. So, let's see. Somebody's asking in the chat why are doctors not allowed to get it? Well, like I said, it's a whole racket. Basically, it's a bunch of cartels running these pharmaceutical companies along with the government. Politicians are taking handouts. There's a lot of money. I mean, it's a huge. And where can you get it? That's the $1 million question. Now, as far as the dog dewormer. Is there a certain brand or anything like that? I don't want to get into too much detail, but is she's asking, where could she get it?
I could just get it. I just get it online. You just do a search for it, fenbenzidol, and also ivermectin. But I would just say research it for yourself and see if that's something that resonates with you. But I personally have just seen amazing things with it. And who knows how long that will last?
Yeah, she says. Sandy in the chat says Glacier Peak Holistics carries a lot of pet health items. So yeah,
okay,
maybe you could check that out and see. But I know with ivermectin, there's only there's certain spots on the internet you can get it. So you just have to do some searches. Probably not in your Google search engine. I would use my use my Mojeek. No, not DuckDuckGo.
Oh, okay.
Mojeek is really good. Mojeek. It's no nonsense, and
nice.
it's an awesome browser or search engine, excuse me, out of the UK, I believe, and they're trying to make a go of it.
Nice.
So that's good. And where's the Truth Bomb? My Truth Bomb page is at infowinnews.com. So you just go there and click there, hopefully. And you can follow Natural News there and get on their mailing list. I think they're worth following for really good information that you're not going to find anywhere else, pretty much. So yeah, let's see if this works. Let's play a little bit of this.
No, we are not getting audio.
Okay, not getting audio.
We've got some finagling to do with our buttons and switches and plugs.
Can you hear that now?
Yeah.
I hear audio.
Just in the echo. It's like an echo.
Yeah. Your microphone should be closer to the speaker if that's what you're going to do. Now we got nothing.
Yeah, I think if I turn up my main volume, but you did have the audio for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That sounded pretty clear. All right, let me try this again. Then I know I just have to go off my mic here and see if I can figure this out.
We'll get better, folks.
So at the this is a trailer. This is a Flatlander recap trailer for episode 1, and so we'll see if we can get this done.
Crank it up, baby. No audio yet. Silent.
It's like the silent films.
Give the good people a link. They can watch it better and faster on their own.
Yeah, that's the Mount San Jacinto. And we were there that day filming, and we were able to see that distance, which is nuts.
Do you know folks around Mount San Jacinto?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the Palm Desert there.
There's a lot we have to talk about to follow up.
Okay.
It's very interesting. What area are you in currently? I remember you're traveling.
Oh, I'm living in Dana Point right now. Dana Point.
You are.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So I hope that was coming through, but I don't know, guys.
No audio, buddy.
So anyway, this StreamYard has been. Yep, next time. So we get it right on the next one. I apologize for that. And well, at least we got the links in there. If anybody wants to go,
now
and
I hear
it.
Sound in the background behind you.
Oh, that's my that's just because I was trying to monitor the sound as I was going. So.
Well, this is the best, most professional interview I've done.
Oh,
you guys
good.
are awesome.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, well,
deserve better.
I'm so impressed.
Well, if the audio would have been coming through on those trailers, I would have been a little more happy. But
no, we'll actually build it up more. People will be so excited to watch it.
Oh man, I'll tell you, there's 6 dozen ways than the other to get this sound through this system, but this StreamYard just doesn't want to pick it up for some reason. It's weird. All right. Well, do anybody have any more questions out there for tonight for Shelley and Michael? If you got more questions or anything like that, please feel free. And
I think we've covered it. Until next time.
Until next time, and I really would love to meet your crew one day. If you guys want to have them all on the next show,
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great if we could have the whole crew on just to, have a conversation about everything? Just think of all the dynamics we would get out of that.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
That would be like
That
the
would be really
Vento
cool.
one. Vento too.
And thank you, Elizabeth, for saying great show. We appreciate that. And we ask everybody to share out the show if you can, and we really would appreciate that. And I'll be trimming the show out after this on my Facebook page. I don't know if it's difficult to get everybody's trimmed, but on InfoWind I'll trim it so anything that's not supposed to be there won't be there. And if your team needs a cut of this, please let me know, and we'll get you a cut of the interview and the broadcast and all that stuff. And if we can help you with anything, I'm here for you, and I'll keep in touch with you. And I would really love to be part of your team as well. And Michael would too, as a producer. I'm just a producer. I can do some editing and stuff here and that kind of thing. And although I can't get sound in the StreamYard, but maybe next time.
Thank you, Mankinder. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I just loved it. And ditto.
Thank you so much. And Michael and I can stay on to kind of end the show. And thank you so much, Shelley Lewis. And Shelley, just tell people real quick where you would like them to get a hold of you if they have questions about Flat Earth, because this is an important topic out there. It's a huge, huge topic.
Yeah. You can reach us at flatsmackfilms.com. Flatsmackfilms.com is the best place, and or rockfin.com/Flatlanders.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And you can go ahead and just leave the studio. And I appreciate you. And thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you so much, guys.
God bless. I'll be thinking about you, and we'll be talking.
All right, you guys too. God bless.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Shelley.
So what do you think, Michael? That was a good interview.
Well, she's awesome. You wanted to talk
awesome?
On that topic, so
that was a good topic. Yeah.
There you go.
So if anybody else wants to come on the show, if you're watching and you want to have a show with me or Michael, just message us here. You can message me on InfoWin New News on Facebook. You can go to the contact page on infowinNewNews.com, and I will just show that website real quick. Anything else you want to talk about, Michael?
I'm just delighted to collaborate with you, brother. I've been looking for somebody like you for a long time. As I mentioned, I've been on this practically full time since California fires of 2017, and realizing that Agenda 21 was not coming, it was here. And so we are dedicated to bringing solutions and connecting communities. And my little slogan is strategies to strengthen mankind. So we can together build a kinder world for mankind that requires boundaries and standards and accountability and delegation. And we can do it with people like you out there, wherever you are watching this. So let us know what's going on in your community, what your resources and needs are. Because if you have offers, which is your resources that you have to offer, and needs, the larger we build the network, the stronger a web of family of mankind we can build and work together to create the world that we want. This is not about complaining about the problems. It's about building the new world. So we're in it to win it.
Yes, and just shout out to everybody that's working hard out there. Everybody that's doing media and stuff like that. Shout out to people that are trying to get truth out and all that. It's important work, in this day and age. So I just want to take people real quick through the website at InfoWin News. You can see there's a bunch of tabs there. To contact us, you just hit the join the team, the first one here, join our team, and that just takes you to a internet's kind of, well, no, I guess it's good. Takes you to this page where you fill it out and kind of say if you want to help us with technical support, which obviously I need. Share Warriors. If you're a Share Warrior and you just want to help, it gives us a chance to put you on the email list that we're building. Here it says become a broadcaster or guest appearance on live shows, and so this will come to our email and we'll respond accordingly. The Truth, I think, here's the Truth Bomb feeds, yeah. And so these are websites that are like out there that are just seemingly lost with YouTube and Google and all kinds of different things in terms of this is the constitutional conventions that Dallas is building up in Canada, talking about child trafficking, different things like that. I think that's my YouTube. I think that's one that I cut. And then a lot of these are from Natural News. There's just a lot of good information on here. So I just kind of keep putting the ones that are like just not on the internet. Those are the ones that that I've been putting there. The ones that you can't find on YouTube or anything like that anymore. And then you look, even Natural News, even Google, they just cut it out of their feed. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I don't know what just happened there, but anyway, anything else, Michael? I'm good. I really appreciate you and your work, and everything's going to be fine. We just got to, let's keep rolling, and we'll get the kinks worked out, right?
Yep, absolutely. We're just getting started. It'll keep getting better.
Better and better and better. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. Yeah.
You,
don't
dear
put it all on me.
Are the supply chain. You are the solution.
I'm just you're the solution.
Looking for.
All you people out there, we need your help out here in Truthland, and we're building kind of a bunch of different things. So with me, I'm trying to put media people and hire people in cities, and so I'm looking to do that, and that's kind of the InfoWin New News thing that's going to be hopefully in every city out there in the United States of America one day, and we're going to have a couple reporters per city. And so I hope that you'll help us in this venture. If you want to learn more, once again, go to InfoWinNewNews.com to make sure you contact us there, join our team through that Join Our Team tab and all that stuff, and we really would appreciate it. Well, God bless everybody, and Michael, God bless you, and we'll talk after the broadcast and kind of go from there. And so I appreciate everybody, and once again, God bless. Michael, thank you again, and see you all later, alligators. By the way, everybody, join us this week. Just look, make sure you're following the InfoWind Facebook page and the Michael Mankinder page. The link should be in one of the descriptions. If you need it, can't find it, contact one of us and we will send it to you directly so that you can get notifications. Also, Rumble, we had a little problem with the InfoWind Rumble tonight. It didn't work, and I don't know why. So but I know it went on Rumble on Michael's channel, and so if you need the links, they're mostly in the description. Just start following a couple of those so that you get notifications when we go live. We plan on going live Thursday nights and Sunday nights and Monday nights. I think we're gonna, well, anyway, that's Monday night. I want to talk to you about that, Michael. So but just please join something so that you get the notifications on the next broadcast. And God bless everybody, and good night.